Welcome to Glamour World, the TV magazine dedicated to art, fashion, film and culture. In this episode, we will discuss fashion trends with the English designer Vivienne Westwood, who is presenting her Spring-Summer men's collection. We will talk about art by visiting the exciting Venice International Art Exposition. We will then enter the film world by interviewing the famous American director Spike Lee, who will present his new movie on the much-loved pop star, the late Michael Jackson. Our closing piece will allow you to discover the Rome International Film Festival and its many surprises. Enjoy! Vivienne Westwood Collection. We're ready for Vivienne Westwood's men's collection, one of the most sought-after events of the Men's Fashion Week.
My collection, it's very manic. It's full of energy, it's burning, and it's like flashing. The fabrics are so iridescent and glinting and glittering, and there's so many checks and spots and broken things and graphics that are all cut into pieces and colour on shoes and everything that's being thrown at you. And to me, I see it as very global, the whole world somehow in this collection, but the world is like a smashed mirror. It's all fragmented. And I just wonder, we are an endangered species. We are destroying our planet. We will not be able to live on it for much longer.
Creativity and imagination are at the heart of the English stylist's work and always produce amazing results, combining garments reminiscent of the English aristocracy's historical characters or elements of street fashion, playfully used in a cheeky way.
And I just wonder if because we're this star species, the world has never made anything like us. We can do the most incredible creative things. We're very sympathetic to each other. We can be so kind and wonderful. No animals can be like this. Of course, we're more destructive than anything else. But I just wonder if we are the star product of the earth in all its eons of history. It's made us. We might be at the end of our lives. And just like a star at the end of its life, it gets brighter and brighter. Maybe we are getting brighter and brighter. I hope that all this energy is optimism and that we can do something to save ourselves. Anyway, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about climate change.
Westwood is a free spirit with no preconceptions and always aims to launch with her collection and sense of irony deeper messages against globalization, mock conformism and class consciousness. Vivienne Westwood is all this, not merely a designer, but a contemporary artist.
shelf. He is just a toy, but I turn him on and he comes to life. Automatic joy, that is why I want a coin-operated boy. Made of plastic and elastic, he is rugged and long-lasting. Who could ever ask for more? Love without complications galore. Many shapes and weights to choose from. I will never leave my bedroom. I will never cry at night again. Wrap my arms around him and pretend. Coin-operated boy. All the other real ones that I destroy cannot hold a candle to my new boy, and I'll never let him go.
The Glamour World TV crew arrives in Venice, one of the most beautiful cities in the world. We will spend 3 days following the 56th edition of the Biennale Art Vernissage, one of the most prestigious international contemporary art events, as well as the oldest.
I was born in 2013 in Finland when we were reading lots of stories about this spent nuclear repository which they were building in Olkiluoto, Finland, as part of the new nuclear plant. We want to convey the idea that there's a long future ahead of us, and we won't always be part of it, but still we have the responsibility for it. So I'm not interested, actually we are always talking about the question of what are we leaving to our children, but that is not the point, because all the children will be dead. So what we are leaving is what we leave for other species, because how we have manipulated nature has long-lasting effects. When we are talking about animations, it always starts technically with pencil drawing. It's just pencil on paper, but then it's digitized and composed into these digital mashups, which compose then the final film.
The first edition dates back to 1895. Ever since then, the event takes place in Venice every 2 years, in the area called Giardini and in the neighbouring district called Arsenale. In this edition, the event includes the presence of 89 exhibits divided into pavilions, usually representing individual nations or more states, as in the case of the United States. The artistic director of this edition is the Nigerian Okwui Mbezor, curator and contemporary art critic, a personality appreciated worldwide. We begin our exciting artistic tour around installations, sculptures, paintings, images, sounds and much more.
Oh, I cannot say really when I start, because I always thought I am in it. So I grew up with a father who was a painter, a semi-professional artist. So it was very clear that my existence will be in. So I think it's a very main aspect. It's a very open one, to invite the people to be part of it. So for this situation here, the spectators, the visitors are the main actors. To sensibilize their own expectation and to reflect it. This is a very fundamental aspect of confrontation with art. Because this is the basic moment how you can start to think about yourself or the art and your relation to it.
Thanks.
If say that I am crazy, but I already know.
It's quite long. When I was 12 years old, I wanted to be artist, and then I started to be artist until now. As you know, my title is The Key in the Hand, and so the both are presenting the hand and holding the 50,000 key. Total is 180,000, and I connected. Those keys are donated from all over the world. I connected to each key with red string. The boat carrying the people and time, time and memory. The boat is hand, just carrying the memory, and I just connected with that line, the people to people. Actually, the key itself looks like human body. It's a big head and small body, and I connect the people between people.
Az identitásra gondoltunk elsősorban az Envezor fő koncepciójához a világ jövőjével kapcsolatban. Mi úgy gondoltuk a kurátorral, hogy az identitás az egyik legnagyobb kihívása jövőnk szempontjából.
Though we're talking about identities, it's one of the main challenges, the best challenges that can be connected to Oku Van Envezor, the main curator, the chief curator of the Biennale, and his concept. This is what relates the most.
We reached the following synthetical conclusion for the 56th edition of the Venice Art Biennale. The Nigerian curator Envezor was able with great skill to build a path of very interesting works, tapping deep into issues of human rights, human conflict, the consequences of capitalism, which has now replaced high values of life, forming the basis of a society where capital means economic power. An edition of the Biennale of Art not to be missed, and we invite you to visit it personally, reminding you that it will remain open to the public only for the next 6 months. Film director Spike Lee is presenting his documentary, looking back on the preparation of superstar Michael Jackson's last tour before his premature death. But let's hear the content of this film through the musician's voice and the director's own words. This film is surely not to be missed.
There's no one that will take his place.
This energy does not go away.
It technically sounds better than any records ever made.
You knock me off of my feet now, baby.
A lot of people, they're used to just seeing the outcome. It's so much work.
Michael would say it starts in this very room, and it spreads over the entire world.
Whenever he made that connection with people, the molecules changed.
He begged me, please don't do another tape.
Just run through the lines.
I still don't know how they did that thing.
You want to know how it was done?
Who's bad?
For what we call music videos, but what he calls short films. And I always hoped that one day Michael would, I mean, I never made it public, but I said maybe one day I could do a Michael Jackson video, and eventually it happened. With the They Don't Really Care About Us.
Why did you choose to make a film about this album?
Well, the choice was made for me. I was asked to do this. The record company, Sony Records and Epic Records, decided that they wanted to do this one. They want to commemorate the 25th anniversary, because automatically people say, why not Thriller? Why not Off the Wall? But they really want to commemorate Bad. Also, Bad has been overlooked because it was an album that came right after Thriller, which still today is the biggest selling album of all time. Also, Bad was when Michael really started to flex his muscles creatively. He wrote 9 of the 11 songs. I forgot how many he wrote on Off the Wall and Thriller, not as much as this one. And I said before, forgive me if I sound redundant, I think it's amazing that here we are in Venice for the world premiere of Bad 25 on the exact day, 25 years ago, albums was released. That's symmetry.
Did you rush out and buy it on the day it was released?
Say it again?
Did you rush out and buy it on the day it was released?
Oh, every day, any Michael Jackson album, I was there. Went to Tower Records, no longer around.
What about sunrise? What about rain? What about all the things that you said we were to gain? What about killing fears? Is there a time? What about all the things that you said was yours and mine? Did you ever stop to notice all the blood we shed before? Did you ever stop to notice this crying earth, this weeping shore? What have we done to the world? Look what we've done. What about all the peace that you pledged your only son? What about flowering fields? Is there a time? What about all the dreams that you said was yours and mine? Did you ever stop to notice all the children dead?
The Rome International Film Festival. Apart from being a valuable film competition, the Rome Film Festival represents a real feast for the movie world. A place where the film industry people, as much as audiences, have the opportunity to meet the actors and directors, who have become part of the history of filmmaking worldwide.
Молодец. I wanted to ask you about your role in the movie. What is your part in the movie and how do you see the movie by yourself?
I'm performing Masha, a girl who lives in that part of Stalingrad which is occupied by Germans. She doesn't have anyone else. I mean, like, all of her family were dead. But at some point the German soldier tries to take care of her and pay some attention, and there is a really tragic story of love between the Russian girl and the German soldier. And I think I kind of judge my character of this because, you know, sometimes during the war emotions are so strong, so you don't have time to think. If you fall in love with a man, you don't think who he is, enemy or not, you just let your feelings go.
Now another practical question. Do you feel cold?
No, I'm fine. I like all of these people here. Like, I really enjoy Rome, and it was like raining about half an hour ago. Now it's fantastic. I think Rome just give us like a hello with no rain. It's great.
Okay, welcome to Rome.
Thank you so much.
Спасибо.
And who are willing to talk about themselves in the sections reserved for them. This edition hosts many guests. American film star Scarlett Johansson will be attending, presenting Spike Jonze's Her, in which she co-stars with Joaquin Phoenix. Also present is the eclectic actor and musician Jared Leto, playing the lead role with the great Matthew McConaughey, who gives an exceptional interpretation in the film Dallas Buyers Club by director Jean-Marc Vallée.
Scarlett. Hello, you're really looking great, first of all, and my question would be, can you tell us something more about your movie and about your role, since it's different? Here you're giving your voice for this role.
Well, it's, for me, I came in at that last kind of part of this project's journey. I really came in the post-production time, but still felt that it was such a collaborative process for me, working with Spike and working with Joaquin. It was amazing to have that kind of support, even just not being able to be on set, but feeling like involved still. It was a really intimate experience, and I feel very fortunate I got to come and play in it. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Based on a true story, the film traces the life of the rough Texan Ron Woodruff, worker in the oil industry and man of many passions, leading a life of alcohol, sex and drugs, who after having unprotected sex with a drug addict finds out to be HIV positive and discovers to be affected by the AIDS virus. Both actors have justly been awarded 2 Academy Awards as Best Leading Actor and Best Supporting Actor.
Well, I'm a big believer that everybody deserves to be treated kindly and equal and fairly. And I think this is a great film to continue that conversation. It deals a lot with acceptance and understanding. And I'm really happy to be a part of it. Thank you.
Jared, was it really hard for you to lose so many weight to make this movie, since for the previous one you had to put a lot of weight to gain it? And was it too hard to be a woman in this movie?
No, I didn't find it to be hard to do most of the things. The hard things were the emotional challenges. The hard things were obviously losing 30 or 40 pounds is difficult, but it's not necessarily the scariest part of it. Sometimes that's the emotional part. You understand?
And how you get it into... How you prepared yourself for this role?
You don't. You just dive in and you do your best and you hope that you can contribute and make something special.
So you live it?
Yeah, you live it.
Thank you very much.
Missoni Fashion. The Maison Missoni can boast a long tradition within the textile industry, as the business was set up in the early 60s thanks to the founder Ottavio Missoni and his wife Rosita, whose talent was most evident in her personal creative use of fabrics and patchwork, which is to become the beacon of their success. Over the past few years, the artistic direction has been handed over to the second generation and has been appointed to the fashion designer Angela Missoni, who is presenting her new Spring-Summer Woman collection.
Glamour World program. Currently we are at the backstage of Angela Missoni after the show of Spring Summer 2014. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I would like to ask you, since I've seen that the inspiration of your collection was based on top of 4 elements: water, land, fire, and I wanted to ask you, since your target woman is a lady that travels all the world, what was the base of this inspiration?
Okay, so there were different kind of inspiration that were melting together. So for the prints, really the 4 elements, but interpret through a pop Japanese eye, let's say. So the comics, Japanese comics, with lots of strong color and the black and white cut. And for the shapes, yes, I think it's a woman who likes to travel, likes to see the world. She's very curious. She brings back memories and souvenirs. So you could have seen in this collection hint and souvenir of traditional costume like sari, sarong, kaftan, but translated into a contemporary wardrobe.
Earth, water, fire and air, all bonded together in a primitive and ethnic combination. The printed waves are very original, and the fringes are bundled up and tied together, outlining a fluid and linear figure.
So this is how you got also the inspiration for music that was pretty much original, I have to admit.
I hope you enjoy it, yeah. And yes, also.
Yeah, I really enjoyed your show, I have to tell you. Thank you very much, and goodbye, Glamour program.
This time, adding to the colourful variations, we find black and white graphics, giving the Maison's traditional logo a more pop flavour. come to the end of this episode of Glamour World, your TV magazine. We look forward to catching up with you all next week. Enjoy.
Was beautiful. If I had the time, they would flock to me and bathe me in the wine. I know that's not the way. I know that's not